All right, guys, welcome to Spotlight Creators. Tonight, I'm so excited to have Elise to really just kind of share her work. And I've seen your work at the Artist Store in Rochester, and what really caught my attention is the color and kind of like the interesting like imagination or creativity you have behind your work. So it's
Mhm.
super awesome that you're here to do the artist talk so people can really see your
Yeah.
work and just get an understanding of what you do. So my first question is, can you just give us like a brief introduction about yourself? Like, did you went to art school? How did you really become an artist?
Um, it took a while to get here, I feel like, because I've just been drawing since I can remember. Just copy anything and everything that I would see. I guess that's where like my technical like skills came from, like for reference material. And my parents like, they were like, yeah, this is a good hobby for you. Like, let's just keep it rolling. I did like a couple of classes at like the Memorial Art Gallery or whatever. But nothing too serious. And I didn't go to school for it either. Um, I was pretty academically minded at the time when going to school. So I actually went to school for the sciences and took maybe two classes in college and then didn't really start exploring it more for myself until after I graduated. And at some point, I was like, I think it was probably around like 2016 or 2017 that someone invited me to like a local 6x6 art party for like the Contemporary Art Museum because they do that every year as a fundraising event. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just donating this. I can make anything I want. And it like finally clicked that I could, as an artist, just make anything I wanted. So that's when I really started to pursue more of like a creative side, whereas before it was always more technical, trying to make things look more realistic and whatnot. Um, and I feel like when growing up, I had more limited mediums to work with. My parents just gave me a bunch of colored pencils, and that was pretty much it. So I just for as long as I can remember, practiced with colored pencil and started to just wonder, like I'd have a thought in my head and be like, what can I see this? Like it was hard for me to imagine, so I always put it on paper, and that's kind of like where I started practicing my art style.
Wow. How did you realize when the moment clicked, like, oh, like maybe science isn't for me. Maybe I really just want to pursue art.
Yeah, it took a few years. I kind of just went into science because I was like, well, I'm smart and I can do it. And then, I had a few jobs and nothing felt fulfilling. And I'm just like, something's got to change. Like, I don't want to live my life just not liking what I do for the majority of the day. So then around, actually, it was probably a big push from my partner, Will. We started dating kind of close to the end of like, it was like my third job that I had where I was just like, this sucks. Like, I don't like what I'm doing. And he was like, well, you're so talented. Like, you should, and you're creative and you're really good at what you do. So, like, why don't you pursue art with me and start doing that? Um, so it took a while to ease me into that because it's like, it's a big risk going from like a steady job where you're always guaranteed a paycheck and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
going into something like this where not only is it just based on whether people like what you do, but it's just not a guaranteed thing. Um, so probably it was it was actually at the start of COVID, like in 2020, that finally, like my job was just like crazy hectic with everything going on. And I was like, you know what? I'm quitting. I wanted to quit anyway. I'm just going to dive into art and let's just see where it takes us. And so, yeah, 5 years later, and it's finally starting to feel like an actual career and it's popping off. And I feel really accomplished with it.
Wow, that's a powerful story. And
Yeah.
the reason why I started Spotlight Creators and this whole platform agency is exactly for like artists like you is I hope art can be a full-time career for everyone. We always hear about the starving artist struggle, and even
Mhm.
society, I think, kind of undermines art, thinks art is something like a hobby. It never can be a full-time job, like only tech or AI can take the world. But
It's true. Yeah.
right, but so
I
many
thought
artists are so talented, and I think there is a way to monetize your work and turn this into a full-time career. So even for me, like being an artist myself, doing more medical side of art, it's
Mhm.
same thing. And I think a lot of the audiences here who are listening to your story can probably felt like the same. Maybe they are also thinking about switching from their current profession to doing something like art. Maybe it can start it to be like a side hustle or can be something that can be a full-time job later on.
Right? I definitely got a lot of that, like, growing up, and even before I was like, "Yeah, this is what I'm gonna try and do." Like, like, my parents were well-meaning and well-intentioned, but art was just a hobby. So, like, I think it was tough for them when I was making the transition. They're like, "Well, don't you wanna go back to school or, like, do
Yeah.
something else?" I'm like, "No, I'm getting paid doing what I wanna do." I also, like, changed from, doing, like, a more technical science related career into, like, health and fitness too, so that's what I
Mm.
do part-time right now, just and I think it's a good balance, right? Like, you just gotta arts can be so solitary and it can be rough on your body too, like, if you're always just hunched over the
Mhm, mhm.
table and stuff, so I like having that, which gets me out in the world. It helps connect me with people that might be interested in my art too, and gets your body moving, which I hope nobody neglects as they pursue their art.
It's it's important. Like what I also love how, we also shared as well, like you guys are like the support system for each other because he also mentioned how you supported him and you also mentioned he supported you. So it sounds
Mhm.
like artists need this support community and that's how kind of how you guys really shine through this just by doing this together.
Yeah, I find it so impressive when I see just like solo artists do it because I definitely heavily rely on him. Like I I couldn't see myself having taken this step as early as I did, maybe at all, if it weren't for like the encouragement that I had, like
Mm,
primarily from him and just knowing that it wasn't just somebody telling me like, "Oh, it looks great," just because they're trying to be nice, and, like, to the other end of things, like, it wasn't too critical either. It was, like, this perfect middle ground of, like, it's honest, authentic, like, supportive feedback from a fellow artist and peer, and you know they just want the best for you. So, I
oh,
hope
wow.
I hope everyone can have that too, 'cause it is really important. I don't think that's why I pursued it for a while. I've had some people that I've met be like, "Well, why didn't you go to school for art? Why didn't you pursue this sooner? Like, you're so talented." And I'm just like, "Wow, I just didn't have a good mentor. I didn't have good peer feedback. Like, I came from a family with a lot of non-creatives
Mhm.
and where art was just a hobby, not a career."
Yeah,
So,
it's risky.
yeah.
And now I want to move to your art. Do you have
Yeah.
like a piece you can screen share or just show and just kind of talk about
Yeah.
your inspiration, like even the style of art, so audience can understand what kind of art that you do?
Yeah, I can do that. All right, I think this is it. Do you see that one?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. So this one, I wanted to start with this one. I call it Dear Mr. Eastman. It's this one was it's special to me. It's a colored pencil piece that I did, and at the time I didn't know what to do for the background either. So it's actually a collage. The original is. So I cut out the deer and I put it on this like fine art paper that I found locally at the West Main Street fine art store here in Rochester. Um, and there's a lot into it, but I wanted to say the reason it's special for me, like it was my like first original piece to ever sell, and it was sold at like the Contemporary Art Museum, one of the members exhibitions, which is actually coming up shortly. I think that opens in December, but this was the first year I participated. I threw this guy up there and he sold. And I was just like, oh my God, like this is like the validation I needed. And that was
Mhm.
very early on where we were making that call, like, should I transition to health and fitness? Do
Mm,
I start up the art business? Um, and then my one of my closest friends from like even middle school, she had gifted me this membership, being like, I want you to try and like submit a piece. Like I think that'd be great, like a great move for you. And it turned out it was. So like this deer is also what our logo is based off of. And the reason it's called Dear Mr. Eastman was I wanted to make my own little piece of like Rochester themed art.
Mm.
Since everyone here loves being like a Rochesterian, like they love to
Yeah,
identify
yeah.
with it. But I was kind of bored with the usual, just having like the city flower logo or just another like generic cityscape or
Mm.
something like that. So I was like, okay, what can I do? I like to draw animals. So I picked the white-tailed deer because we have so many deer here in
Mm.
Western New York. So that's a little native to our part of the world. And then I chose to I did put the city flower logo on his tie as like a pattern. So sometimes people
Oh,
don't notice that right away
yeah,
because
I see it now. Yeah.
it's a little small, but he's also his suit design and the portrait is based off of an old picture of George Eastman. Um,
Gotcha.
so that's why he's called that. But then the colors are also kind of like leaning into Kodak as well, just
Oh,
like to
wow.
a
It's
little
it's a
piece.
it's a
Yeah.
tribute to Rochester. By the way, are you from Rochester or?
I am. Yep. I grew up on the west side in Chile, born and raised there. My parents still have the house that I was, raised in over near Black Creek Park. So lots of deer. So that's, I guess, also
Yeah,
why
wow.
out of it.
It's a tribute to your hometown, which is really
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. So it was just like, wow, this is amazing. Um, I just, I don't know. Like it took me a while to really feel like, yes, I am a professional artist. I'm not just someone who likes to make art.
Mm.
I'm an
Yeah.
artist. So this was like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
piece.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, when people don't know the story, you only see this as, oh, it's a deer. It's like a fantasy world, a deer, but in a suit. But when I heard your story, it's a tribute to Rochester, to your hometown, then everything just, it's different. Everything starts to make sense. And I see
Yeah.
why this is a special piece for people to buy it. Because if, I mean, I'm not from Rochester, but even I've lived there for a while. So it's like,
Mhm.
wow, this is like really, really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
If there, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was just wondering if you wanted any
Oh
more
yeah, I was
displays.
gonna ask you if you have like any other pieces you want to share, like talk about your creative process
Um,
as well.
yeah, let me see. I'm just gonna click and see what I see here. Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's perfect. Um, so this one, so very different, right? Like we're
Yes,
going.
very different vibe for
Um,
sure.
and I guess that's really perfect too that it just kind of came up with this one because my two main um, mediums of choice are colored pencil, like the Dear Mr. Eastman, and then my other favorite is the Micron pen. Uh,
Mm.
so I had mentioned growing up mostly with colored pencil, but then when I was younger, I really got into like anime and manga, and I always thought it'd be so cool if I could like become a manga artist. So I wanted to
Yeah.
learn how to like draw more in ink. So that's probably like later middle school to early high school when I started working with pen. But anyway, onto the piece itself, though. This one would have to be like my, I don't know, like crowning achievement. Like I really put a lot into this piece. It's one of my biggest pen drawings to date. Typically, I'm just drawing like on a small scale, like at the most like 11 by 14. Um, but this one's got to be like 18 by 24 originally. I still have the original, but it's actually like a Capricorn piece, so I'm the Capricorn sign and I thought it would be really fun to do something a little spooky. I wanted to make like a what would look like a cult idol, but with Capricorn in mind. Um, not exactly sure where the inspiration came from. I think I was just bored with all like the usual stuff. I feel like it's typically pretty generic what you can find as far as like the imagery goes. But I was like, no, I want to make something that I like. And I've always grown up with like loving horror and spooky things. So
Mm.
this one took probably about 60 hours. And I when I go to make a piece, I get a lot of different reference material, right? So I did work from some stock photos of the goat heads. Um, and I actually referenced Will's hand to make that. But then part of it was kind of scary because I didn't really have a reference for like the body or tail, and I kind of wanted it to look a little androgynous, a little almost like you couldn't tell exactly which gender it was just to be ambiguous with it. But it's got a lot of pieces in here, like symbolism for the Capricorn. We've got like the
Mm.
Saturn, which is the ruling planet for the sign, hanging as like a charm from his antlers or his horns rather. Um, we've got, of course, the goat, right? The mermaid goat is the central image of Capricorn, but it's got the constellation of Capricorn on the one side of the chest, and then the nipple ring is actually like the upside down triangle with a bar that is the symbol for Earth. So Capricorn is an Earth sign, and it's like the 10th house. Um, and yeah, I kind of went with, I'm also a certified yoga teacher, so I went with a little inspiration from like yoga mudras, which are just hand symbols to evoke, different mental states and like just channeling different energies. So that's why he has like one hand up and one down. And I just thought it'd be fun to incorporate hooves because of the goat thing. So that's why one's a goat hoof. But yeah, um, I think that's everything in the piece as far as the
The
symbols
the de
go.
the details in this piece must be incredible because like the hairline, like all of that, the little details, like it must that's like 60 hours. It probably took you a
Yeah,
while.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. I didn't really like count it too much. I just like so it's all cross hatching. Um,
Wow.
and just I used the same pen for the whole piece. It was just like an O2 micron, and that thing started to actually die during the process, but I managed to finish, which is impressive because I don't think I've ever actually worn one of those things like out to the bitter end without like ruining it with. Sometimes I write on like my colored pencil pieces with it, which is
Mm.
not good. I don't recommend doing that. It ruins the nibs. But it actually made it so that I could get even lighter shading like on the body once the
Mm.
pen started to die. So it actually is really beneficial because it's almost like so consistent with like the ink flow out of the pen where that's why you would say size down to like a smaller nib just so you can get the more fine and lighter detailing or you can just let it die. So yeah, the two
Wow.
methods.
And just that's a question from the audience too. Are these this piece and deer piece for sale? I know you sold probably the original for the deer piece. Do you sell
Yeah.
any prints for that or for this one as well?
Yeah. So we do prints of pretty much everything, or we're trying to get everything, right? Like we do have a little bit of a backlog, but these two pieces definitely we sell as prints regularly at our setups, and we have the online store now. So we do all of our own printing at the studio at home, but
Nice.
so we can print up to like a 13 by 19 with anything that we do. Typically we sell this one in like the 8 by 10 aspect ratio, so like 8 by 10,
Mm.
11 by 14, and sometimes smaller with the 5 by 7s, but not as typical in those smaller sizes.
Right.
I do still own the original for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, and people who are interested and maybe saw this video that yeah on YouTube can probably contact you for if you want to buy the original
Yes.
pieces.
Yes. Anything. Um, Pretty much anything can have a price on it. This one, I think at one point I had put at the art gallery, one of the past members exhibitions at like 1222, which was also kind of like just that's the first day of the Capricorn
Mm, I see.
cycle. Yeah. So that was the reason for that price.
All right, good to know. People can always reach out to you and trying to figure out
Yeah,
the price for this piece. Cool. And do you
absolutely.
have like one more work you want to share? Or few, if you have more, that'd be great as well.
Let me see. Oh, this one's kind of fun. Is that what I was gonna go for? Yeah, I can talk about. One second. I'm just gonna stop sharing for a minute and
Yeah, yeah,
find
yeah.
what I
Kind of
want.
capture the word that capture all your style because everything is so different. Like what you probably do a lot of art.
Right, right. Um, and I feel like maybe one. So I'll go with this one. There we go. This guy. Um,
I love
yeah.
this piece.
Thank you. And I picked this one because in recent years, so this one I think I made maybe 2 years ago. It was like at the start. I think it'll be 2 years, like you know, at the start of 2026. But I've been trying to do more with like a full image because most of the times, and you can still kind of see that even with like the Dear Eastman, like the background's just a piece of it's a piece of paper with a print on it, and like consequently didn't have any background at all. And I typically don't do that, mostly just because I really don't like drawing backgrounds.
Hmm.
I get so excited to draw like my character or my piece um that by the time I've like put all the hours into that, it just feels so daunting to do a background, and I don't want to
Mm.
like ruin anything. So this was, I feel like, one of my first full-fledged attempts to do a background, and it definitely has kind of like a storybook charm to it, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah,
I do
yeah.
these illustrative pieces. This one's called Juice of the Elder Toad. I was just watching this cartoon show, Adventure Time, and there was an episode where they that was a line in the show was like, "Oh, there's juice from the elder toad," and I was like, just it just pops into my head. So, like as far as inspiration, I never know when it's gonna hit me. It might just be
Hmm.
while I'm listening to a song or like watching a show. And it could be some, I've watched Adventure Times like at least 3 times, I swear. But why this came out of it this time, I have no idea. So that's like my new method for art is that I think I used to overthink it too much. But now I'm like, any idea is a good enough idea for art. You just gotta do it. Give it the time. So this one I'm like, okay, I'm gonna draw this cute little toad and he's gonna be a wizard. And so I found my toad for reference and I just thought up the fabric itself. So I feel like that's kind of the age old like task for any artist in training. I remember in high school like trying to figure out how to shade fabric. So I hope I did a well enough job for that. It's all purely from my brain. But yeah, I just still stuck with him to start, but then I'm like, let's like give him something cute and a little like light on the background with like the trees and stuff, but I kind of like leaning into almost just like an not quite abstract, but it's just like a light suggestion of like what's there and let your brain kind of fill in the rest of the details. So I've been wanting to do more with this illustrative style just to have like a full story page, basically.
Yeah, I
A
can
full,
totally see that in a storybook. Um,
yeah,
like your own little fantasy world, but now you're kind of sharing that fantasy with other people.
yeah. Um, Actually, I have a recent one, but I don't think I have it on here.
Okay.
So if I stop, what?
And
Sorry, I'm
this
not sure.
piece,
Like
yeah,
when
no
you see
worries.
the window shared, is it just taking up the whole thing, or can you see me still?
Yeah, I can see you and I can see the piece. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be right
Oh,
back. I'm gonna grab this
okay,
other
yeah. Yeah, take your time.
one. I have the original of the Elder Toad too, but they're I usually draw quite small. So when I mentioned Code Safety being like 18 by 24, that's huge for me. Like this one
Oh, you
is
might have to stop sharing to, yeah,
okay.
yeah. All right, perfect.
Yeah, so this one, this is the original of
It's
it.
so tiny, yeah.
It's so tiny. It just came out. I mean, it still has like
Yeah, this is the original piece, right?
yeah, this is the original. Super
Wow.
small. And you, like the shine is that's just like the waxy quality of like colored pencil. But I did this one more recently in like a similar style.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and I guess similar colors. I'm definitely prone to doing like these deep teals and blues and things with colored pencil more because of the quality of the colored pencil. Honestly, I use Prismacolor almost exclusively
Mm,
for my materials, but the blues and the purples tend to like blend a lot better. They're like creamier and they're so fun to work with like
hmm
physically as opposed to like yellows or reds or even a lot of like the cooler brown tones. They're a much harder like lead and they don't
mm,
blend. So you can like always see like every little line versus like when I go into here, I usually start with like kind of a base layer where you still see like the texture of the paper. And then I blend everything with a white colored pencil and kind of like smooth out any texture from the paper that I might get. And I'm sure there's probably other ways you could do that with like a blending stick or whatnot, but since I didn't go to school for art, this was what I ended up finding worked for me. Um, but then because of the white colored pencil, it kind of has a tendency to wash things out a little bit. So then I do like another pass through on top of that layer to make the colors pop again.
Wow, I see. And do you plan on doing this kind of style more? Because I can see it to be in like a book, like a published illustration book.
It would be really fun. And I
Yeah.
feel like that would be so cool because like I said, because I had at one point wanted to do like a comic book,
Yeah.
um, and very light in the background. Like just when we have time, I have a friend who's an author, and we have worked on a comic book together. We only have like 4 pages, but at some point, hopefully, we'll get some more work done this winter. But we would love to be able to have like one complete volume finished, like like maybe like a 20-page comic is
Oh.
what we eventually are working towards. It may be like a couple years still, but
Yeah, but I can totally see that. Like I can totally see that as this part of what you're doing. Like you can still do the other main part, but then this can be like a theory of every year what you did and the color, even the process of working in color pencil. Because I've worked on the color pencil before, but I'm not like an expert in color pencil. And then even
Mhm.
seeing the wax, how to change the paper, how the color blend, it's like
Yeah.
super cool for other artists to kind of learn.
Yeah, and it's kind of tough to get used to. I still like mess it up sometimes too, where it's like, so I have to like, the first layers where you have like the most freedom, when I can decide what colors to do and you can like kind of build the blend of
Mhm.
like gradients and things like that. And then once I've blended it, I've got to really know what I want to do after that because I
Mm.
feel like you can only layer so much on the paper before it just starts to ruin your paper. So there really isn't a possibility to go back over it more than 3 times.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe next time I should do like have another section for teaching classes. People maybe
Oh
you'll be
yeah.
interested in.
Yeah, I'm getting really into the technical of it.
Yeah. Yeah, like how to blend the color pencils,
Yeah,
like how to
right.
be an expert. Yeah.
Right. And I guess I could show you like this is my in progress. It's not finished, but I'm doing like another one with
Oh
like a
wow.
mushroom fairy.
Looks like an avatar a little bit because I haven't seen the
Ah,
finished work.
so obviously I haven't like done any of like these little mushrooms, and
Mm.
I just finished the second pass through on like the stump and on her,
Oh
but
wow.
I kind of am digging like the almost like whited out paler like pastel quality of the background, so I might just leave it.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so that was another one. I do a lot of my art. So this one and this one. So this one I'm it's called just the candlelit messenger. and I don't really have it. I'm not very good at titles, so this is just the mushroom theory. Um, but they were both drawing prompts from like the Drawtober on Instagram. So I like to
Hmm.
try and do that. Like the fall tends to be when I'm most inspired. It's my favorite season, and I'm just, even if it's not necessarily influencing the stuff I make, it's just inspiring me to work on stuff.
That's cool. And just quick question for you for my platform. Would you be
Mm-hmm.
interested in doing something like a badge system drawing? So what we're doing is we have the site finished for artists to pretty much share their work and then sell their work as well. Another part to kind of be more engaged with artists is we have the badge system. So pretty much you submit your own style. And
Mm-hmm.
let's say you are a founding artist, for example, like maybe you and Will, you can draw the badges and then people can later on purchase the badge and you will get a certain percent of how they purchase. And you can do either one badge of drawing anything your style or even 10 badges. If they collect
Mm-hmm.
all the 10 badges, you get a certain percentage. And it's just
Okay.
some aside thing because we're looking to talk about your interest in October. So kind of want
Yeah.
to make that into more of that like a monetization so the artist can get paid for doing something. There's no
Yeah.
requirements. It's your style. I can send
Right.
you more
Ooh,
info later,
yeah,
but
absolutely. I'd be interested.
that's cool.
Cool.
I have some artists who are doing like spirit animal theory. So
Ah,
she's drawing like a hamster, a puppy, a cat, and then that's
yeah.
gonna be her own little badges. So eventually, when we launch that system, they can buy it, and then you will get a certain when they purchase and we can do like a little rig. Oh, you're the popular artist from this and this and this.
Oh, that'd be so fun. No, I like that
Right.
idea.
Cool. We will record kind of our process on social media. So it's kind of like we are really developing this site, but also with kind of the engagement of artists because it's your work and we're trying to
Mhm.
also kind of give you more visibility as well.
Which is so appreciated. Like I feel like that's the toughest part about making it as an artist. And like you can't just be an artist. You've gotta be
Yeah.
like a good marketer. You've gotta be
Yes.
talking to
Yes.
people and like just doing everything. So
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I'm an artist and I was telling Will about that. I feel like for me, I'm more passionate about seeing artists shine more than my own work. Like I wanna a part of besides the site we're doing, we're also doing like an art agency and be networking with a lot of art galleries. Because the networking is such a pain for so many artists. So
yeah.
whenever I talk to a gallery owner like this coming Friday, I just moved to New York City actually, because there's more art gallery there. So I can help
Yeah.
people like you to connect with more artists, connect with more art gallery.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of that the goal is, if kind of like an art agent, I love seeing my like artists I know put on their own show, then me, my own work, like
Yeah.
have a gallery. So that's
Ah,
something I want to ask you all before we end this is would you
mhm.
be okay sending me some of your pieces whenever I see a gallery owner that seems like they're interested in your genre or maybe their own show has that
Yeah.
fantasy land, I can show them, oh, I know this artist from Rochester, like she might be really interested. Okay,
I would love to share some of that. Like, I
cool.
don't have any qualms of like people looking at my art or like
All right,
sharing it with people. Yeah, I
great,
guess
yeah.
I haven't been burned yet. Like, I haven't
Okay.
had anyone that I know of stealing my art. So,
That's cool. And all we're doing is we give credits back to the artists. We don't
yeah,
take I'm an artist myself, so I understand that whole problem with like it's
yeah.
your work, it's your work. Like we're just kind of helping you to be that agent or that medium to connect with more art galleries.
Oh,
So
that's awesome. Thank you.
I feel like your work is really cool. Like I can see the whole book coming out, like even like own gallery, a theory of the story you had, like the steps you take for
Yeah,
each piece, the style consistency. I think, yeah.
yeah.
So then
I've
I
been
have
like
your work.
I've been meaning to do like been meaning to get better about taking pictures of like the process and do like reels and stuff. That's the other thing. I have social media, but I hate
Yeah.
posting on it too. But
Yeah.
like I have it'll probably come out at some point. Like I have all the intermediate steps for like this piece to show like how
Mm.
it came to be, and I try to do a little bit more on the process side of things too. Um, I think I have one where I don't know if you've watched the show Arcane, but I'm a big fan of that show. Beautiful art style. So I
No.
tried my pen style with the cross hatching, but I did it in color, which I should have picked that maybe to show. But um Yeah, because I usually work in either all color with colored pencil
Mhm.
or just black and white.
Black and white.
Yeah, so there's like no middle ground except for now apparently, because like Micron does have like a few different colors, but it's pretty
Mm,
limited um on it, and I just love Micron, so I don't want to like risk going to a different product like or a different
yeah,
brand
yeah,
just to get
yeah.
more colors. Um, but yeah, they pretty much just have like your basic red, green, blue, purple, and like that's
Mhm.
mostly it. There's like 7 colors. So it's fun to see what you can make when you're so limited too. That's another thing that I kind of like to play with.
I like that. That can be like a cool challenge on on our website if we're
Yeah.
launching later on is a challenge where you only use like a few colors, but then you draw
Oh my
whatever
gosh, like
you,
those
yeah.
monochromatic pieces and stuff, or if
Yeah.
you only pick like 3 colors. Like I used to
Yes. Yeah.
um kind of like how you love to support other artists. I just like to support my friends in like exercising creativity
Hmm.
because so many people think I can't do creative things. I'm not an artist. Like
Mm.
they just don't see themselves being comfortable in that field, but it's like no, anyone can do something creative for
Yeah.
fun. Like it's
Yeah.
such a fun release. It's just like lets you play, and I think people just need to get in touch with that childlike wonder and stuff. Like you can make anything and nobody's going to negatively judge you for it, at least not in the spaces I create. So we do like art parties and stuff, and I've done some where we have to draw from like a hat where it's like, okay, well this has a bunch of things you could draw,
Mm.
and this one has a bunch of color palettes. Like I just told them like put 3 colors onto a piece of paper, fold it up, throw it in there. So it'd be like, oh well, this hippo drinking coffee has to be purple, green, and yellow. Like, okay. And then you just work with what you got.
That's a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
So before I guess I conclude, I have two more questions for
Yeah.
you. The first question is, what does the future like for you look like for you as an artist?
Ooh, I think, well, hopefully a whole lot more art. I want art to be the majority of my day every day, as opposed to now where I have to split it. And I picture it, I really don't picture it being too different than now, just being more comfortable with who I am and where I'm at, but we want to be able to travel to more cities.
Mm,
It's like a
traveling,
big
yeah.
step for us, and probably get to a point where I can have like an actual studio space.
Okay,
Because
all right.
it's like, I mean, we put this up so you wouldn't see
Yeah.
the mess that is my studio living room. But yeah, honestly, those steps and just being able to share it more with everybody, like that would just make me so happy.
Cool. That's a great goal. I think you will get there one day, and
Yeah.
hopefully I can be a part of it and help you guys have
Yes.
more gallery shows and have your own studio.
Yeah, that would be so good. And to make bigger pieces too, right? Like if I don't
Yes.
have the other job to juggle and like other obligations with like work, then
Hmm.
I can make more big pieces like the Consequi piece. Like I would love to have, because I've been asked by people like, oh, like, do you have anything bigger? I'm like, well, no, not really.
Mm.
Like something even this small takes me, like 10 to 12 hours
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
draw time to do this. So it's like I either have to learn a new medium, which I am in the works of expanding my skill set to like acrylic paint for that very reason. I really want to start making big pieces.
I see.
Um, so that'll be down the line too. I guess that would be more of the creative side of like my work, what I want to
Gotcha.
work on for the future.
You'll definitely
Peak
get
and
there. And
impressive.
yes. And my last question is, how do you want to be remembered as an artist? Any words you would describe yourself?
Um, I, you say that, and I really love what this one person that came into my booth said to me. They said my work was delightfully absurd, and
Yeah,
I
I
want to be
agree.
remembered for that.
Okay.
I love that I want to just share people and have them remember me and my art as being like, no idea is too weird or too this or too that. Like any idea is good as long as you just put the time in and have fun with it. So I want them to see that in my art, and I want people to remember me as being just whimsical and delightfully absurd.